Negotiations for another ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appear to be underway, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he has started to fly undocumented migrants seeking asylum to Chicago. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Talks are underway for a possible pause in fighting in the Israel-Gaza war. NPR's Jason DeRose reports on the negotiations.
Diplomats from Israel and Qatar, backed by the U.S., have been meeting in Europe to work out some sort of a deal, according to U.S. officials. And Hamas says that one of its senior leaders, Ismail Haniyeh, was in Cairo. Egypt has been playing a role in ceasefire talks as well. Hamas is still believed to be holding more than 100 Israeli hostages. Israel wants them back. During the first ceasefire, Hamas released hostages each day in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Separately, the United Nations Security Council is trying to pass a resolution calling for a humanitarian pause in fighting. A vote on that continues to be delayed over language acceptable enough to avoid a U.S. veto. Jason DeRose, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he is starting to fly undocumented migrants seeking asylum to Chicago. He says the Biden administration is to blame for failing to secure the U.S. border. Tens of thousands of people have crossed into the U.S. this month. Texas Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez says this is breaking local Texas resources.
Imagine something happens to you. You dial 911, and you cannot go to the hospital because there are no beds, because all the beds are filled. I'm not making this up. This is where we're at.
Senate negotiators continue to work on federal immigration reform. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Republican Leader Mitch McConnell issued a joint statement this week. They both say the negotiators are making, quote, encouraging progress. President Biden says courts will decide if former President Donald Trump should be pulled from Colorado's presidential primary ballot next year for apparently engaging in insurrection. Biden says there's, quote, no question Trump supported insurrection on January 6th. The once popular electric scooter company, Bird, has filed for bankruptcy. As NPR's Bobby Allen reports, the tech company cited scores of injury-related lawsuits as part of the reason it became insolvent.
Bird helped jumpstart a so-called micro-mobility movement in the 2010s by flooding sidewalks around the world with electric scooters that could be unlocked with a phone app. The company pitched scooters as an environmentally friendly alternative to cars, but it often entered cities without approval from local lawmakers. The scooters both delighted and frustrated city residents. The scooters ended up in rivers and lakes, and people crashed them. Bird says the decision to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection was partially related to the more than 100 personal injury lawsuits it faced. But also, Bird said it expanded too fast during the pandemic and has now ran out of cash. It will now try to reorganize its debt and emerge a leaner company. Bobby Allen, NPR News.
This is NPR.